3, 2, 1. We're recording.
A long time ago,
Oh my
in a
god.
galaxy
Stop.
far, far away.
Jesus. Oh, yeah, we're talking about Star Wars.
But not just any Star Wars.
Yes. The
We're talking about
clone.
Star Wars: The Clone Wars.
The clone
and
Star Wars.
And our thoughts on the newly announced Bad Batch series.
Before we get into that, we should talk about that finale, huh? That
I say we save the
season.
I say we save the finale for. I say we end on the finale.
Oh, you want to start with the bad bitch?
I want to. How about this? How about since we didn't plan this podcast day at all, and we do no research here at the Mr. Movies podcast, how about we go through each? There were 3 main arcs of the final season.
Yes.
You want to go through each one in chronological?
I would love that. Let's do that.
Okay. How about we talk about the Bad Batch one? We talk about the Bad Batch series.
Yeah.
And then we'll talk.
Okay. Right. So, arc 1, the Bad Bitches.
Batch. My lord.
I know you have a lot to say. I want to hear what you have to say. Go
okay, so for me, the Bad Batch was the perfect welcome back to Clone Wars arc. It really was for me.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think you did need, as much as I would have loved to see an arc dealing with like Darth Maul escaping Palpatine and stuff. There's a comic book if you want to read into that. And, you know, I'm usually not for that, but who cares? So I thought the Bad Batch was the perfect like callback to remember this series and why you loved it as a kid.
Remember the clones?
I'm curious to know how you interpreted it, because by the time you got to it, you kind of binged the whole series for the first time.
I did.
The entirety of the last season.
I waited till it was basically all out, and then I just steamrolled that whole thing, except for the one arc where Mace Windu and Jar Jar fight demons.
Which is, oh my god.
That's the one I didn't watch because you told me it's not okay.
So I'm curious. So for me, I thought it was a perfect callback to everything. You know, I watched the series back when it first premiered, and like I've gone back and rewatched certain arcs over and over.
Sure, yeah.
So I'm curious, did it blend in well with your binge? Did it feel like it fit into the tone?
No.
Whoa! Yes! Yes! Disagreement! I love it!
Oh God! Let the debate ensue.
Okay, I'm down. Tell me why.
Okay, so the Clone Wars TV show humanized the clones. When you watch Attack of the Clones, which is episode 2, and Revenge of the Sith 3, the clones are like in the background. It's very obvious that they are supposed to be faceless soldiers. They're all the same. They show up, the Jedi are like, hey, that's pretty neat. And then by the end of the last movie, it's like, oh no, it was a trick. And then they're all murdered. It's like, okay, that's like an interesting plot device, but like it was not the focus of the movies. For better or worse. The Clone Wars, I think one of the big intentions of it was to give these individual clones like unique characters. We learn who Rex is as opposed to Cody, and like that we learn that these clones, they may have been bred to be like the same soldier, but the war shapes them differently. One of my favorite episodes is when Rex finds a deserter clone as his own family.
Bring that one up.
Right? Like it's so interesting to see, like, yeah, if I was one of a bajillion soldiers like fighting a war, I'd be like, I could probably just like sneak off and like go to like this abandoned planet. No one will know. Like it's it's so interesting that the show decided to pursue that. So when the Bad Batch comes around, okay, so I get, like you said, it was supposed to be a reintroduction to like the classic series. So why weren't they characters we already knew?
Okay, I'll take that.
You know, it's like, it's such a fucking basic team. It's like, you got the muscle, you got the sharpshooter, you got the tactician, and you got the captain. And together they make the Bad Batch. It's like, what? Like, can you imagine if it's the same exact plot, except it was like Captain Rex and Commander Cody and
Hmm.
like Wolf or like whoever make them clones we've seen before.
Yeah.
Because I don't feel any emotional connection to the big clone who can pick heavy things up.
I enjoyed it the first time around, but upon the announcement, it kind of like turned me off from it in a way because I'm like, okay, so it was more so to serve as a backdoor pilot, really, than anything
And
else.
now rewatching it, it's very obvious they're like trying to set up characters we're supposed to know and love. But
Yeah.
I thought they worked great as a funhouse mirror to Rex, right?
Yeah.
Because Rex is working alongside them and he's just a normal clone. And it's like, you have all these clones who have been like mutated to like do all this crazy stuff. How am I supposed to be special if I'm just a normal clone? But he's the one who connects with Echo, who's the one they rescue. Right. So like it shows that like, oh, it's the bond between soldiers that matters. It's not being
Yeah.
a good sniper.
Yeah.
I don't want to watch a show about them. I
Okay.
don't care. Who are
Lucasfilm
they?
Animation.
Can you name all of the Bad Batch members?
I can't name one of the bad. Echo now. Echo.
Oh, good one.
Echo. Look, I forgot what I was gonna say. I'm looking forward to it. I think Lucasfilm Animation.
It's Dave Filoni, so
Baloney. Respect.
whatever. Dave
Respect
Falafel.
I remember we went to Star Wars Celebration and he came out on stage and I got overly excited and you said, what did you say?
Oh, the cowboy hat guy.
No, you called him Cowboy McGee.
That's right, I did.
Mm-hmm.
Now I feel a little guilty about that because now I know he's a very talented
Yeah.
At the time, I was like, who's this nobody?
I was like freaking out. I was like crying and you're like, Cowboy McGee. I'm like, okay, calm down. I enjoyed the Bad Batch for what it was. I really like the scene. There's a scene, I think in the second episode of it, where Anakin is talking to Padme. And then that scene to me was great. Good. And I know there's some controversy around that scene.
What controversy?
So basically, when Clone Wars got canceled, they were already working on episodes. So they already had most of this episode done in previs, and they released it online for a Star Wars Celebration one time. They screened it and then released them online.
Like the shitty web, like 3D art kind of, yeah.
And there's a scene with like a Republic gunship, and it had you know how like, you know, nose art, how it kind of like sexualizes people and stuff.
Kinda, yeah.
So one of the clones had painted nose art of Padme that sexualized her on it, and Anakin got angry about it and was like, "You guys should take this down. That's disrespectful and stuff." So they decided to cut it. And the scene they replaced it with works a lot better, but people were upset because they thought it was Lucasfilm with some feminist agenda.
Wait, wouldn't it have been more feminist if it's about like taking down like the over sexualization of people?
That's kind of true, but I mean, given that it's the final season and we're getting closer to Revenge of the Sith, I think the way I thought
that scene assisted Revenge of the Sith.
Yeah, it worked a lot better. Yeah. I like that Anakin and Rex, it's kind of hinted that they know about Anakin and Padme.
Right.
I really liked that. So to me, let's go. Okay, so do you have everything done about this arc that you want to say?
I'm gonna.
I want to move into the series.
Yeah. Okay. Well then, yeah, I'm done with the arc.
Okay. So they announced the Bad Batch is coming. What kind of direction do you think the show's gonna take?
When the story released, I read the article and it's like, oh, it's like post Order 66, right? It's them navigating the new empire.
I did not know that.
Yeah, apparently it's like them navigating the transition from Republic to Empire. And like that's a cool space of time.
That is, yeah.
That has not been talked about enough.
I wonder if like
Dave Filoni
other clones would try to hunt them down.
Right, yeah, like,
So that's what I'm interested to see in.
or maybe like they participated in Order 66 and like they killed a Jedi and like they got to deal with that.
You know, if they really want to like blow people's socks off, like really like set a tone. Because
Uh-huh.
here's the thing, because it's Disney Plus, I think they're gonna go for more of a tone that Clone Wars had, other than Rebels, because and like
God, let's
Resistance.
hope. God, let's hope.
If you really want to like just hammer into the ground, this is the tone of our show. We're establishing it. Episode 1, Order 66. Like open,
Damn.
start the show in the
Yeah.
middle of it.
Yeah.
Start the show in the middle of it, and them being like, I don't know if they would have their inhibitor chips out or what. Maybe you open with them getting their inhibitor chips out, and like they're surrounded kind of, but they're like in a locked room or something. I don't know. But if you really want to, start it, and then maybe have like a bunch of clones like break in, and then they turn, and then boom, cut to a couple like years, months later,
Yeah, sure, that'd be
and just
interesting.
have them on their own. I think it'd be cool if it's them like retired, and then they kind of have to come out of retirement. They decide
Mm,
for the greater good to come out of retirement. I think that'd be kind of
I could
like they're
see that.
resilient about it, but they have to do something. I don't know what. I think that'd be a cool route to go.
Yeah. Like you said, there has been like a spiritual successor to Clone Wars, and that was
Mhm.
Rebels. And Rebels is not as universally loved.
Mhm.
So this is kind of like an opportunity to continue the animated future of Star Wars and hopefully groundbreaking new
Yeah.
places. Cause like I'm gonna level with you. I really loved how The Mandalorian is about like the side stories and it's
Yes.
very inconsequential. Cause it's like, yeah, you found like a little green Yoda Jedi thing, but like he's a baby, so he's not gonna like lead a new rebellion slash army, whatever.
Yeah.
And when I hear that season 2 is bringing back like Ahsoka and Rex and the
Can
other
we?
like
I
Bo
would like to talk
Katan,
about that real quick.
real quick, just let me
Okay. No, I will. I will. But I just want to say something on that when we're done.
like I get that they want to connect it to the larger universe, but I would really prefer it if it stayed like on the outskirts. It's very outer rim of Star Wars. Like I want it to be more world building than like, oh, do you think Din Djarin will use a lightsaber to fight Moff Gideon? Like I don't want that.
Yeah.
That's my piece.
So just real quick on the whole like Ahsoka season 2, all that. Can we just stop? I feel like every time I go on the internet, there's always a new. There's literally rumors right now going around that George Lucas is gonna be heading back as head of Lucasfilm. No, he's not. He sold the company to Disney. Disney's not gonna have him come back.
Uh-huh.
There's so much like fake stuff that's posted about Star Wars, like rumors and stuff. And then when it doesn't happen, like Mandalorian season 2 could be the greatest season of TV anybody's ever seen. But if Ahsoka now doesn't show up, people are going to be pissed.
That is
So
very true.
just stop. That's all I have to say. Just stop with the
Uh-huh.
freaking crap. Could you imagine if people had known about Baby Yoda before?
Yeah, it would have been rough.
Like they're not going to announce Ahsoka's going to be in the series. If she pops up, she's just going to pop up. And the thing I will say that you said now about wanting to keep the universe small, I think Dave Filoni does a great job, especially in Clone Wars is more tied to the movies, but Rebels is more so its own thing,
Yeah.
where they could have they had like Leia in an episode of Rebels, but it worked.
Hmm.
And yeah, there are times where they overdo it. There's an episode where Lando pops in Rebels and it doesn't work as
Uh-huh.
well.
Yeah.
But they do a good job of tying the universe together while it's still being its own thing. And there's a great interview with Dave Filoni right before the Rebels finale, because everyone speculated the Rebels finale was going to be the Battle of Scarif. And he said a great thing. He goes, I could easily make the finale the Battle of Scarif from the view of the Rebels. He goes, but you've already seen that, and it wouldn't justify the arcs that these characters have been through to just throw them into this battle. It should
Very
be its
true.
own thing, and I only want to use what I've set up. So that's his mindset.
I
So
respect him a lot. He's a good
I
he's a good
respect him
director.
so much. Oh my gosh. I've been watching so many, there's so many like behind the scenes stuff that people pirated and posted on YouTube from Clone Wars, and I've been
Oh, yeah?
watching it all. It's so good. It's so good. You learn a lot too about like the creative process. It's just great. Anything else to add on Bad Batch?
I will give the show a try, but I gotta be honest, if it's just like the Bad Batch arc again
Yeah.
longer, I'm not gonna enjoy it.
Mm-hmm. I think they'll do a good job of making these characters feel very individual.
God, can you imagine? Like, who are they? It's like
I know.
Sniper
I want to see
Man,
conflict in the
strong
group.
guy.
I want to see
Yeah.
conflict in the group because the whole arc was basically like them all getting along together and then everybody outside conflicting with them. So I'd like to see conflict within the group. I think we will. And again, if you want to really just like say, this is our show, we don't care, like this is the tone, start it with Order 66.
Yeah.
Even if it's like a minute and a half, just show it.
And I know this is gonna be like darker than like they're gonna go, but like what if the Bad Batch like kill a Jedi in the first episode and then they have to deal with that for like the rest of the show?
That'd be neat.
Right?
If one of them, like the sharpshooter one, that'd be neat. And then you could have
Like
this
he
whole
just
arc where he
turns his
doesn't.
rifle a little bit, like
Yeah, and then you could have this whole arc. You could have a great arc where he doesn't want to like go back to violence and he doesn't want to shoot people anymore. And then he's forced. Oh my god, dude, we should make the Bad Batch. Let's call Lucasfilm and like be like, we have a great
Lucasfilm,
idea.
it's us again. We have
I think
ideas.
between the both of us, I genuinely think we can make a really good Star Wars show.
I'd like to think we would.
I think we
now
could.
let's ruin those chances by talking shit on the second arc of the finale.
Okay, I'm not gonna talk shit about this arc.
Okay, good. Me neither.
Love it.
Okay,
You aren't?
I don't love it, but I'm not gonna talk shit.
Okay. So we're talking about the Ahsoka arc with the two sisters,
The
right?
Martinez sisters.
Yes.
Who are drug runners.
Spice runners.
Oh, they're drug dealers and their name is Martinez. Do you want to talk about that?
Oh, I don't think it's Martez. They're not drug dealers, they're spice runners.
Oh, it's really similar in the Star Wars universe.
Oh my gosh.
It's
a spice and wait, okay, can I be real?
Yes, you can.
Longtime Star Wars fan. Is the spice in Star Wars supposed to be drugs?
Yes.
No.
Why do you think the kingpins of the shadows are the ones who
Oh my
always...
god, wait, why does that make a lot of sense now?
Why do you think Oscar
Wow,
Isaac
I've been viewing
like...
that with a very innocent lens.
Yeah, I hate to burst that bubble, but like there was a big uproar when Rise of Skywalker was like, oh yeah, Oscar Isaac, he had a past where he was a spice runner and he was embarrassed of his past and like, oh, why was he the one?
That joke makes a lot more sense now.
It's just because they never go into it. They don't run into a guy who's like high on spice, but like the idea that like it's shipped in cargo, like
is
illegally.
It spice? Because I know like in Attack of the Clones, like we have the introduction of death sticks.
Maybe it's like cocaine versus weed. I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know the offense list of the Star Wars drugs.
What was Jabba the Hutt smoking? Smoking spice.
Oh, Jabba the Hutt. What are you smoking?
Was Jabba the Hutt smoking spice? The Mr. Movies podcast asking the real questions. All right, let's talk about the Martez sisters.
The Martez sisters. Now, people fucking hate this arc.
I liked it.
Why do you think? Why do you think people hate it?
I don't know. I genuinely don't know.
I think, okay, when you compare it to the other two arcs, it's very low key, right? It's very like Ahsoka made two friends, they go on a little whimsy adventure, and then that's it. Whereas
look,
the other,
can I just say straight up,
shooting like,
yeah, there are people who don't like this arc for the wrong reason. I remember I was watching a review of the final season, and it was this dude, and he was going off, and he goes, I didn't even watch that middle arc because I saw one of the characters had an SJW haircut, and I'm like, okay, you're already going into this the completely.
Yes,
like,
that you are correct. That is such a wrong reason to not watch media.
Look, you
the whole concept of an SJW haircut it just baffles me. And
It does.
Star Wars have aliens.
Yeah.
You think you can't have like a haircut with like a little shaved on the side? Like,
Yeah.
you have fucking goat people and like snake people, but you draw the line at hair. And
SJW haircuts.
it's just,
It baffles me. First of all, you needed an arc like this because the last time we saw Ahsoka, she left the Order.
yeah, we
So
gotta know
if
what she's
the
doing.
next time you show her is her immediately running back to the Jedi.
Yeah, it's like it
discrediting.
invalidates the whole thing.
Yeah.
I totally understand that.
I definitely get slight arguments that this arc is low key, and there's like a whole episode where, in the beginning of the episode they break out of prison, and by the end they're back in prison. Like, yeah, that's a fair complaint, but
Yeah.
it's more so about the experience that the characters are facing
Very true.
than what's actually happening. To me, this is an arc that you have to kind of look past the surface level to fully understand. Is
For
that
sure.
fair to say?
Yeah. On that note, it was 4 episodes when I think it could have been 3.
Yes, I agree.
But and then I don't know, maybe we needed that time.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it could have been so much worse.
It could have.
And
yeah.
it was a very low-key story, a very
Would
intimate.
you classify this arc as bad overall?
No.
I wouldn't either.
I think there are worse Clone Wars arcs.
Look.
The ones where the Gungans
have-
beat General
we
Grievous,
have-
that's the
we have-
worst one.
Which one?
The ones where the Gungans beat General Grievous.
Yes.
Not okay.
Can I just say a small detail of Clone Wars, a series I love? The line in Revenge of the Sith where Anakin's like, "Oh, General Grievous, I thought you'd be taller." I always thought like that was just a mistake because I always thought Anakin and General Grievous ran into each other in Clone Wars. They don't.
Yeah, that is true.
They never interact.
actually
For
meet.
some reason, I always thought they had. They do not. I was watching an interview with Dave Filoni. He said, "No, we
Yeah,
specifically."
they're like on the same
never
planet
interact.
at some times, but
He said
they
the
never
closest they ever interact is the Gungan episode where
Oh.
they trade Anakin but Anakin's out of it and General Grievous is shut down. So
Very true. And right, that level of
detail.
detail is smart. It's very it shows that he's being like a good showrunner.
Mhm.
But also, why would you make Gungans? Okay, General Grievous is one of my favorite characters. He's
Mhm.
such like an interesting concept, right? Like this alien warrior who becomes so obsessed with like battle and fighting that he becomes like obsessed with enhancing himself. And then he learns how to be a Sith from Count Dooku, and like he collects trophies from all the
Yes.
like, whoa, where is my General Grievous movie? Instead, I watch a bunch of duck-billed fish people sticking with pointy sticks.
All right, let's get back on track. The Martez sisters.
Yes, okay. It was fine. It wasn't that bad.
I enjoyed it. One thing I really enjoyed about this was the episode where they have to go to Castle.
Oh yeah.
I really liked that it wasn't the same section of Kessel we're used to, that they showed how the rich are in Kessel instead of like what we saw in Solo.
Yeah.
And like they
course.
still go to that place to pick up stuff. I really liked that. I really
They don't
liked,
hit the same note. Yeah.
Yeah.
What I never liked about, this is nitpicking about Star Wars, it's like, yeah, you have Tatooine and it's all sand, and it's like, why wouldn't you not make like half of it sand then half of it ice, right?
I've
Like,
always had that issue with
do
Star
something
Wars.
interesting.
Mhm.
Like show us more areas of like the same. I had like a Star Wars comic book that told like a little mini episode about when Luke was training on Dagobah, and he has to go to like the other side of Dagobah, and it's like a volcano. And like that's
Yeah.
cool. Like that's interesting world building.
I can have like green lava so it like fits the aesthetic. Like
There
know?
you go. Just make it. I like it when they show multiple sides of like the same planet, I guess.
So is that all we have to say about the Martez sisters arc?
I think it is. I think what we just really need to take away from it is that shut up about SJW haircut.
Yes. And Ahsoka needed an arc to grow.
She
We
needed a
needed to see her
personal
awake,
intimate
so when
arc
she comes back, it has meaning.
where she cared for others, and we had a reason to like her. You know?
Yes.
Yeah.
And I also like the way they worked Bo-Katan and Darth Maul into this to set up the Siege of Mandalore.
They did do a good job about that.
So
Speaking
real
of,
quick, I just want to say before we get into the Siege of Mandalore, which is why the final season was made, let's just be real.
yes.
I want to talk about Disney Lucasfilm for a minute, which people love to crap on. People love to say, oh, Disney ruined Star Wars. I just want to say something.
Okay.
You may not like the sequel trilogy, that's fine. But you can't say Disney Lucasfilm is bad because you've gotten The Mandalorian.
Yes.
You've got this final season of Clone Wars, which has arguably one of the best arcs. You got Rebels, which is loved by the audience that watches it. I haven't met a person who watched Rebels and openly hated it. The people that don't like Rebels strongly have not watched Rebels.
Okay. I believe
so
that.
Just stop. Just stop. Enjoy it. If you don't like it anymore, they got rid of my Legends. Your Legends books still exist. Crack them open, read them. Get off the internet.
Yeah. Oh, here's an idea. Go for a walk in a park. Stop reading comic books about Star Wars every second of the day.
I know.
And
So
just pet a dog. Go swimming.
I want to talk about Siege of Mandalore, and
Let's
I want to talk
about
about the first minute and a half real quick.
Ooh.
The original Lucasfilm logo, all that stuff is fantastic. The way that instead of using the Clone Wars theme, you use John Williams' theme straight up,
it instantly tells you like this shit's different.
I'll tell you right now. I'm still gotta talk about the first minute and a half, but overall, the way Kevin Kiner does music is phenomenal, and it's the best it's ever been.
Yes.
But the way they interpret John Williams' music, the way a lot of the music is from Revenge of the Sith.
Mm-hmm.
The way they use the music in this arc is better than the way they use it in Revenge of the Sith.
I think that's fair to say.
I think that's fair. First minute and a half, I want to talk about it because so much fan service and just care is in the first minute. They really show you how much they cared in the first minute and a half. They show General Grievous, but they updated his character design, which takes a lot of time and money just for literally 3 seconds of screen time. Grievous looks insanely good.
It looked like it was straight out of the movie.
You showed.
I don't know if that's because the CGI back then was bad or the CGI now is good.
I know, right?
But
but you had the Jedi at a round table, and you had Jedi Master Balapa and her Padawan, which is Kanan from Rebels. So you're just like, here's some fan service I'm going to slap you across the face with. This arc does fan service in the best way you can do fan service, and I really appreciated that.
Yeah, it was not over the top. It was not heavy-handed, but it still meant something.
Yes, I like the way they showed what's his name from Solo.
Oh, Dryden Voss.
He pops in for 2 seconds. Great. That's great. That sets up.
It connects
Solo.
The world. It makes
Connect
sense.
the world.
Yeah.
That's what Dave Filoni does so well, and that's why I cannot wait for The Mandalorian. How do you even want to talk about the Siege of Mandalore? Do you want to take episode by episode?
Let's split them into half, because the first half of Siege of Mandalore.
The first half is basically Siege of Mandalore, and the second half is more Order 66. So that's fair. Let's talk about the goddamn Siege of Mandalore.
That was
my boy Darth
really
Maul is at the top of his game.
Yeah, when it was announced that it was going to be Darth Maul and Ahsoka squaring off, I was like, why? Like, why would you put
Rebels
together?
You already know what happens. I know you haven't seen Rebels yet, but those characters are in that show.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, they both survive, so I was like, where's the tension going to be? But they build it.
And like they talk about in the show, like how Darth Maul and Ahsoka were just like tools. Like they were both enslaved to either the Jedi or the Sith, and they both escaped it. Right. And it was like, oh shit, they are more alike than you think.
Yeah. And I love that Ahsoka was going to team up with him.
Right.
Until he brought Anakin.
And then it's so tragic because she's like,
no,
Anakin will never
tragic.
turn. And it's like, bum, bum, bum.
Because there's so many. Can I say that trope is done so many times, but it's done where the bad guy is lying. So to have the
Uh-huh.
bad guy be right,
Tell the truth. Yeah.
it's so good.
It's so rewarding.
And Darth Maul, can I just say too, I'm going to bring up The Last Jedi real quick.
Sure, go for
Because
it.
The Last Jedi, very divisive. And people complain, they say, oh, it's very political. Star Wars has never been political, which is crap.
That's
This
so
arc
bullshit.
is so politically heavy, has so many undertones, but is universally loved. I have
that
not
is true.
seen one person who hates this arc. First of
Huh.
all, something I want to say, from the Bad Batch to the Martez sisters to this, the animation just gets better, better, and better.
That is true. I feel like they saved their budget.
Mm-hmm. They definitely did.
Oops. Just hit my
And
mic.
like, I don't know that I'd want a Bad Batch series thinking about it, or if I'd kind of want 4 really good episodes that make up a Bad Batch movie and get one of those each year.
Yeah, interesting.
I'd
Interesting
rather
point.
have that.
I feel like that concept works better as a
Like,
movie anyway.
If Lucasfilm is into like doing movie trilogies, do animated movie trilogies on Disney Plus every year instead of a series.
I would really enjoy that.
Yeah.
Then I could get my fucking General Grievous movie.
Yes, you can.
I want it so badly.
I know.
Ugh.
Grievous, a Star Wars story.
Siege of Mandalore, I think, was so interesting because they build, like, they're running through the sewers. It's like, oh, there's a
Yes.
Sith here. What's
And
going
the way
on?
they tie it into Revenge of the Sith, with like Obi-Wan Kenobi, oh, I'm heading to Utapau now to
Yeah, what will I
General
find
Grievous.
there?
General
Oh
Grievous,
no.
like, oh God, we know where that's going.
Yeah.
And oh,
When Ahsoka's like,
Darth
yeah,
Maul-
like, you gotta go get Dooku, and Obi-Wan's like, oh, we got Dooku. It's like,
yeah, he's like, Anakin freaking decapitated him. His face is so good. I want to talk about the duel.
ooh, that
Motion capture, the way you used it. It's
Good.
not anything revolutionary. It's revolutionary for the Clone Wars. But the way it's used is so good.
it looks so much better.
Dude, there's like a weight to this fight that hadn't been
Yes.
there before.
Absolutely.
And I got so inspired from watching this arc, like as a filmmaker. I felt, I was like, God damn, I want to make something.
Right. Yeah.
Like, I'm just blown away. I love that Maul didn't know 100% what was happening, but he kind of had puzzle pieces that he was slowly putting together and saying, this piece doesn't fit here. Oh my gosh. So when stuff finally happened, he's like, so this was the plan. Like,
yeah.
it's so good.
I think they talked about, do you want to get into like the Order 66 part?
Yeah, I think this is very hard to split up because now I'm thinking about it. They do really feed into each other.
They do. It's definitely like a part 1 and a part 2.
Mm-hmm.
I think that was the best way they could have talked about it.
Yeah.
Because like I know a lot of people were like, oh no, we have to see Order 66 again, like, oh boo-hoo. But like, no, we don't. We know what happens.
Let's
Like,
see it from Ahsoka's perspective.
Exactly.
And
the
it
characters
works.
where we don't know what happens.
And I love that,
Rex
like,
and
Rex
Ahsoka?
was so, oh my gosh, that scene where Rex and Ahsoka are talking, he's like, they're not my brothers anymore, stuff. And she removes his helmet, has a tear. Dude, I fucking bawled. I straight up cried. I was like, yo, that is terrible. That is terrible.
Her refusal to kill like any of them
is so her. It's so her. And like
the whole
you can
arc
look
is
at
about that. Like,
oh
you could
my
argue
gosh.
the whole show has been leading up to like that.
Yeah. And like, I know there are people out there that are like, oh, she's just being naive. But I'm like, no, that's respect. And they set up this respect between Ahsoka and the clones from the first episode.
Yeah.
Where they do the helmets
They
and
paint
stuff.
the things, right.
And once Order 66 hits, even like the lighting on the ship changes from like prequel era, like how you would see those ships, to like original trilogy, how you would see the Empire ships and
right.
stuff.
Yeah.
And it's so the detail is so great. There's such a love for this franchise. And like, oh my gosh, I love watching interviews with Dave Filoni because he's like a child. Like, he's so happy.
Oh yeah, he's so
it.
happy to be there.
And
he's just like hitting action figures together. Like,
I know he really is. And he says something great, which, again, I like comparing him to Rian Johnson because I feel like they have the same philosophy. It's just how their work was received by the audience is different. where he said too, you know, I'm not going into this trying to make something that pleased an audience,
Mm-hmm.
that pleases fans. I'm just trying to tell a good story with what's given. He talks about an episode of Rebels where he goes, in an early concept of this, Darth Maul and Darth Vader were supposed to duel each other. And he goes, I ultimately realized I was just doing this because I wanted to see it and it had nothing to serve with the story, so I cut it.
Yeah,
And I'm like, that is filmmaking.
it
That is
is.
filmmaking.
It's
And
adding like
this
sacrifice to your
arc is
writing
so
process.
cinematic. When the ship gets pulled out of hyperdrive, and it's just a shot of the ship in space. Like, it looks live action. Like, it looks
does.
so
It
good.
looks amazing.
I'm like fanboying about this, and like, oh my gosh,
And like they were like legit. I was pulled into it. Like that scene
yeah,
when they're up there in the bridge and all the soldiers are pointing their guns at him. I was legitimately like, "There's nothing you can do." Like
dude.
that
Darth
ship is
Maul's
going
hallway
straight
scene.
to that like planet. I had no idea. Usually, if something's poorly written, I'm like, "All right, they have to get to point A. They're going to discover point B. They're going to get to point B, point C. Blah 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 blah." You have a 3-act structure.
This,
But I had
yes.
no idea what was going to happen.
You know what I loved about the Order 66 and the way they handled it? They took the Breaking Bad mentality, is what I call it, where you know what's going to happen, but the way they go about it, you don't know. So that's what you're waiting for.
I see.
And, you know, we just recorded our podcast where we talked about stuff. We talked about July, and I talked about Titans and the issues I had with the writing.
Mm-hmm.
They should try to implement that in that show. If they implemented that, that show would be so much better, where,
Yeah.
okay, we know what's going to happen, but the way you go about doing it can be different.
It's the journey, not the destination.
Yes.
God. And even the little stuff, like the droids, right? Ahsoka runs into 3 droids and they're like
Mhm.
her only allies on the ship. Like that was just resourceful. It's cute. And
That's
then they
not only
all get
resourceful.
shot.
That's not only resourceful, dude. Think about that in context of the whole series, where we're using clones to fight droids.
Yeah.
To now we have to use droids to defend ourselves from the clones.
And
like,
Ahsoka has always been like connecting with the droids when like the other Jedis
Yeah.
and clones haven't. And so it all makes sense. It's believable.
I think Ahsoka is. Oh, I feel bad for Star Wars fans that don't know Ahsoka.
Yeah. I mean, they really have turned her into like the best way to view that universe.
So when we're done saying what we have to say, don't say anything about the last like 5 minutes where it's all instrumental, because I feel like that's its own thing that we're gonna get into.
Man. Oh
But-
man.
Oh my god, dude! I know. Okay, so first of all, Darth Maul. Did I say this already? Darth Maul's hallway scene. I will take that any day over Vader's from Rogue One.
It kind of bothered me how similar they were.
Okay, that's fair.
I
Okay, I want to talk about. Oh my gosh, I have so much. I feel like I have so much. I should have taken notes. I want to
Yeah.
talk about callbacks to movies.
Sure. Yeah.
Oh my gosh, the way this arc starts with Anakin on the bridge, and it's like Luke in The Last Jedi where he's facing everybody down, and the fact that it's the same exact scenario as the Clone Wars movie where it's oh, we're gonna surrender, and then da 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 da, and then okay, I'm gonna nitpick the Rise of Skywalker too, because the Rise of Skywalker uses the Star Wars theme at the end when all the ships rise up, and I think that's really cringy. I always thought that the way that music was implemented was cringy. I just apologize. I burped. I don't know if you heard that.
No, you're fine.
So I just outed myself for no reason. But when the clones come out from under the bridge, they use a Star Wars theme, and I get chills because it's so good.
Because they use it right.
They use it right.
I totally get that.
Like, just the callbacks to this was incredible.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I have to say. Anything else, and then we'll hop into that last 5 minutes. I have to run to the bathroom real fast. Can you entertain them?
Oh, sure. Yeah.
All right.
Yeah,
just
it'll
go nuts.
just be me. All right. Welcome back to the Duncan show. Frank is stepping away. He's exiting the room. All right, guys, I gotta level with you. I gotta be really honest. Just you and me, no Frank. I give Frank a hard time for liking Star Wars, but you know what? The way he talks about it, the way this story has like connected with him, it's really inspiring to me. I know it's easy to make fun of Star Wars fanboys who nitpick like, oh, Yoda should have said this or whatever, but like the way Frank talks about it, it shows that he really does care about this story and how it's affected him. And I really think it's turning him into a good storyteller. And like the short films he's making, they're not like Star Wars. Like you can't tell like they're inspired by Star Wars, but if you really like look at them, you can see like Frank is taking the best parts of Star Wars and implementing them into his own work. And it's inspiring. I can't connect with media the way Frank connects with Star Wars. And I was watching Star Wars at the same age he was. Like I'm jealous that he was able to like find something so special and connect with it. I mean, when he talks about the Flash, it doesn't work as well because I can't stand that show. But like Frank in Star Wars is he's back. And that's why Florence Pugh
Can
is
I
my
just say,
favorite.
I had the door open while I was going to the bathroom and I heard
No.
someone.
Oh no.
That was so nice.
Oh
That
god
was so
damn it.
nice. I don't deserve that.
No,
Oh my
I didn't say any of
God.
that. You misheard.
I
You
didn't hear
heard
the
what you
full thing.
wanted
So
to
now
hear.
when I go back and listen to this, I'm probably gonna cry.
Ah, shit.
Let's talk the last 5 minutes. Are you ready to
Yeah.
get into
Oh
it?
my god. Let's talk about it.
Holy crap.
That could have been a short film on its own.
That
It was.
is probably my most rewatched clip from anything is the last 5 minutes. Let's talk about Ahsoka.
Mm-hmm.
The section with Ahsoka first, okay? And Rex. The fact that she refused to kill the clones. Dude, I cried when I watched it so hard. Like I was a mess.
Buried them like.
Oh.
Oh,
And then
she
to have their
gave them
helmets on.
all a
Again,
proper
another callback.
burial.
I like when you watch The Mandalorian, you know, and they go to Tatooine, you have the clone helmets or the stormtrooper
Right.
helmets on the pikes. I like that they did it, but it's more peaceful.
It was more respectful. Yeah.
I like that how they showed it in a respectful manner. And just when she's holding the lightsaber, you feel the weight of that when she lets go.
Yeah.
And to me, it was like she didn't want to let go of it, but she had no other choice but to. She has to.
Right.
Because it makes her a target. And, you know, I'm a big fan of the Star Wars books and stuff. I have the Ahsoka book, which came out before all this. It shows the siege of Mandalore in the book style. And now there's
so you knew what happened this whole time?
I did not 100%. I knew what happened in the fight with Maul and Ahsoka. That's basically all it covers. But I know there's people complaining, oh, in the book, her lightsabers are green and the ones Anakin gave her are blue now. Oh, Lucasfilm. And I'm like, just stop. That's not, there's so much more. And I feel like Star Wars fans get almost too passionate. And when you have too much passion and you hold on too much, you turn to the dark side.
Well, there's some good ones.
No, for sure. But I don't know. I feel like Anakin giving her the lightsabers and then her having to drop it means so much more to me than, oh, let's keep it consistent and have her have the green lightsaber she's always had.
Yeah, because she was letting go of Anakin when she dropped those lightsabers in a way.
She was letting go
all the like passionate when he picked.
Do you think she would have gone back to the Order had not Order 66 happened?
It's hard to say. I don't know.
I know.
I don't.
I think she would have, and I think she would have tried to change.
You do?
I think she would have tried to change the system.
Yeah, because if we know anything about the Jedi, they're super interested in what Ahsoka has to say.
When Mace Windu's like, oh, that's not for you, citizen, I was like, Mace Windu's kind of an ass.
Mace Windu's a dick, and it took this for us to know it.
Do you want to hop into the Vader stuff now? The Vader scene?
Yeah, because
there's
a lot there.
The first time I really understood the tragedy of Anakin Skywalker becoming Darth Vader. And in that moment where he looks up at Morai, which has been the symbol of the light side, and you can see past the lenses and see his eyes a little bit, I was like, wow, this man has lost he sacrificed everything for a woman he loved. He didn't get that. Like he was a pawn. He was used. And it's just so like that sat with me. Like a week after I watched the finale, I
Yeah,
was still thinking about
it
like it
affected
sits with
me.
me.
Like it lived in my head rent free for a week.
Yeah, rent free. I like that. Um, I'm just I was moved by it. Like I was just so moved by it in a way that I hadn't before by something in the medium of animation.
Hmm.
Like I really felt it. It felt, you know, people talk Mandalorian season 2, we want to see live action Ahsoka. And like as far as I'm concerned, Ahsoka is in live act. Like this stuff to me feels as
Yeah,
real as the live action stuff.
I think that's fair. You got to treat
They
him
have their
equally.
silly stuff. They have their Godzilla arc with the Zillo beast running through Coruscant. That stuff's silly, but to me, it's the human core of it all that makes
Right.
it all real.
I legitimately forgot it was animated, like during that final arc. I was
Mhm.
so into it. I don't know. I
The Clone Wars final season had a very hard task ahead of it because it had to please fans. It had to build tension when fans already knew what was going to come after it, because you have the sequel series Rebels, which talks a lot about the events.
yeah.
But it still managed to surprise, shock, and just do an overall good job. So
And like part of me hmm, I'm not gonna watch Rebels. Like I don't care.
you
You can put a
should.
gun to
You
my head. I'm not gonna do
should,
it. I
because
know it would just upset me.
no, it would not. I don't think it would. I genuinely think
I've
you're going
seen
to
the
be missing
Kenobi
out.
scene. That's all I need to know.
The what?
The Darth Maul and Kenobi scene. That's all I
Dude,
need.
you're missing out on some of the best storytelling, though, if you skip it.
I'm good. I'm good with
I'm going to
that.
get you to watch it. You said this about Clone Wars.
I was always gonna watch Clone War. I was fine with that.
Okay.
But I don't know. But my whole thing was like when I saw the fucking bird above, I was like, "Oh,
Mm-hmm.
that's a Rebels thing." Like,
It is, but it's never fully explained in that show. It's more of something that you kind of have to figure out for yourself.
okay.
So
And then I
its
did have a
significance of
question.
being there works
Okay.
for how I understand it
I
personally.
know Ahsoka is in Rebels and I know she fights Darth Vader like with but at the end of Clone Wars she drops the lightsabers. So I just wanted to know like is it significant that Ahsoka is back?
Within Rebels,
Yeah.
the arc Ahsoka goes through in Rebels is really good and very important for her character.
Do you think the Clone Wars finale affects that in any way? Does it make it better? Does it make it worse?
That's kind of why I want you to watch it, because I'm very curious to see,
Ugh.
as someone who's seen the story linear now of
Uh-huh.
Ahsoka.
If you can give me the Ahsoka episodes of Rebels, I'll watch them.
Dude, watch the whole
I
series.
don't want to.
Do it.
Maybe.
All
Hey,
right.
quarantine might last another year. I have
Yeah, you
time.
got time. You got Disney Plus. Alrighty, I think that's all we got to say.
Yeah.
I'm starving, so I need to go grab something to eat. I'm shaking.
Oh no, we've been starving poor Frank, you
I know.
bastards. What are you doing listening to this? Just
But thank you for listening,
yeah.
watching. Let us know what you thought about the final season of Clone Wars and your thoughts on the Bad Batch show. Like, subscribe, hit the bell notification.
Hey everyone, comment Ahsoka letter by letter in the comment section so we
Yes.
get a lot of like engagement on this
Engagement.
video. I hate Instagram. Like there's a lot of Star Wars Instagram stuff where
Mhm.
it's like it's like the post is like, "Did you know General Grievous was a girl?" And then the caption is like, "Be sure to comment General Grievous letter by letter in the comments." It's like, "What?"
That's great.
Anyway, yeah, have a great day everyone.
One.
May the
May the
may
four,
the force
may the
may the force. Bye.